The Backrooms. You've been here before. Phenomenon number 99. Forced immortality. Content warning. If you are sensitive to the following topics, do not read further into this article. Detailed gore, consistent profanity, suicide, and psychological trauma. Read at your own discretion. Forward. Do not attempt to be affected by this phenomenon. It is highly likely to result in mortality, and research on this matter is still in its early stages. This is a formal warning. Failure to comply with this will leave you liable for your own potential suicide. You have been warned. Description: Phenomenon 99, otherwise documented as forced immortality, is a recently discovered phenomenon that occurs haphazardly during attempted suicides. At random, any given person who attempts suicide in the backrooms has a chance to be granted immortality. Despite how this phenomenon presents itself, it is not in almost any way beneficial to those inflicted by it. For those experiencing this phenomenon, it is a highly sensitive matter and is not to be taken lightly within the confines of the general public database. Any individuals caught doing so will be punished accordingly. Frequency. Conclusive research on the frequency of forced immortality has yet to be concluded. However, there have been approximately 50 reports of it thus far, all of which have been validated by trusted MEG operatives. Relevant parties. Anyone who attempts suicide within the backrooms has the chance to be affected by this phenomenon, regardless of the method. Discovery. This phenomenon was discovered recently via reports received through the GPD, General Public Database, as of 19/04/2029. Specifics of these reports will be kept classified for the sake of those affected by the phenomenon. No further detail will be provided. Specifics. Although Phenomenon 99 has only recently been discovered, a few individuals affected by it have the opportunity to study the specifics of it by the means of self-experimentation, despite reports only having been received as of recent. This phenomenon dates back as far as, allegedly, the 19th century. How forced immortality initially manifests is an inexplicable process that has been labeled as, quote, the unwanted rebirth, end quote. The unwanted rebirth consists of two different stages of which the phenomenon comprises in its whole. The phenomenon itself is very simple, though its functions are what make it especially noteworthy. Firstly, immediately preceding one's suicide is the first stage of unwanted rebirth, a glimpse into heaven. This causes one to grasp the sensation that they are floating in the sky. In other words, an out-of-body experience. The effect that this brief moment of freedom has on one's mind has been described as that of utter shock and anticipation to see those that one holds dearly, deceased lovers, family, and friends alike. The yearning for these precious companions is always immediately followed by the subsequent beginning of the next stage after about 30 seconds to 2 minutes of the first. After one has been returned to reality, or, in other words, forced to fall from the heavens, their body will be painstakingly regenerated in an instant. One's limbs will snap back into place as flesh wounds or other such damage is regenerated conventionally, albeit at a severely accelerated pace. The individual affected will feel the entirety of their injuries in a singular instant, the pain being consistently described as worse than any other form possible by any conventional means. Even worse, however, is the mental and emotional trauma that this brings to anyone affected. Most who are affected by this phenomenon wished, for one reason or another, to not be alive, and the direct denial of this can leave permanent trauma as a consequence. Psychological analysis has determined that 37 out of the 42 individuals willing to be tested have been inflicted with some form of depression, PTSD, DID/OSDD, and or several other mental disorders following their attempted suicide. It has been determined that this is likely due to the resolve and already deteriorated mental state that killing oneself requires being washed away, placing severe stress and a slew of negative emotions on one's brain. Do's and don'ts. Do. Report any instances of this phenomenon to the Meg immediately. Provide any possible mental and emotional support to those suffering from this phenomenon. Avoid being affected by this phenomenon at all costs. There are chat rooms available to set up appointments with well known professionals who care about you and your mental well being. Do not hesitate to contact them if you need someone to talk to. Don't attempt to cause this phenomenon to occur in any way, whether on yourself or others. Disclose that you're being affected by this phenomenon to anyone other than trusted MEG members and associates. There have been several incidents thus far of individuals being abused and harvested of their organs for the black markets present throughout the backrooms, so execute thorough caution. Despite the severe negative impacts of this phenomenon, those affected by it are trying their best to move on and make the best of their eternal life. We wish them the best and support them fully. Private chat room. Overseer Andrew / Jared Botsman. Date 27/06 2029. Recipient Overseer Andrew. Topic Forced Immortality. Dear Andrew, we have made a massive fuck up. We should not have made this phenomenon available to the public. They aren't listening to our warnings, and there's a ton of shit going down. I need you to gather as many agents as you can to prevent a massive tragedy. I'm talking about death tolls in the thousands. Don't bother responding. Just meet me at base beta with as many people as you can. Signed, Jared. When faced with eternal life, humanity cannot afford to hold back their greed. The Backrooms. You've been here before. Phenomenon number 99. Forced Immortality. Massive tragedy strikes 11. This just in. Mass suicide has spontaneously plagued level 11 as of the publication of Phenomenon 99 to the general public database. The Meg scrambles to put an end to the ceaseless bloodshed to no avail. Those seeking an infinite lifespan have been collectively throwing themselves from buildings, despite the Meg's warnings. Stay inside and stay safe. Published as of 28/06/2029. People are in fucking hysterics. Dead bodies litter the streets, and we've got nothing to stop them from piling up more. We're undermanned, underprepared, and we're out of options. Publishing that article was more than just a mistake. Thousands of people are dead, and the count is still rising. We took the page down, but that won't stop them. And you know what the worst part is? Not a single one of them was able to succeed. This is a complete fuck up. I don't know how you'll deal with this negative rep, but personally, I'm going into hiding. Enjoy the fruits of your ignorance, Andrew. They litter the streets like slaughtered cattle, a sight to behold for us disciples. Bathe in the blood of these pitiful souls. Us, so devout, rejoice in our newfound hope of conquering. Attack now that we may have the chance. We're going to feast on Ichor. By will of the godhand. Note, see Phenomenon 55. Signed, Edgard Sullivan II. Out of the darkness and into the flames emerges a new vessel. He basks in the blood-red fury littering the streets, and approaches in a fit of rage. He has ascended. He has overturned a stone that revealed inner glory, his hand reaching out and grasping that of Godhand. The end of this story is yet untold. He has yet to inflict his wrath upon the evils that placed him in his position. The Backrooms. You've been here before. Phenomenon number 99. Forced Immortality. He approached the rebuilt base beta alone. Foot pounded pavement as he walked on. Operatives took notice of him, yet had not the guts to move an inch. The street split apart with each step, the sound reverberating and echoing across the buildings and into the ears of all nearby. His power was unrivaled. His goal was absolute. As he stood just in front of the base's steel walls, he laid fist to metal and slammed through it all. Retaliation was futile. Bullets, swords, hammers, explosives, and even fists were useless against him. He ripped one after another, limb from limb, their blood spraying as he soaked it into the very essence of his being. He thrashed the base through and through. Not one man breathed a breath. All escaped or lain to rest. Godhand prevailed once more, and hundreds of red-veined warriors entered the scene, feasting on the fruits of the vessel's awakening.